Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video on something that had happened to me a week or two ago at at a store that I had gone to, and kind of like how I dealt with it and things like that. So a week or two ago I had gone to the doctor's. It had been one of those days where it seemed like everything was happening all at once, and it was just I was busy doing this and that, and I had like a bunch of things on my list that I needed to do for errands and having to go to the doctors and all this stuff, and it was just a very hectic day for me. And so I got out of the doctor's office and I had to go down to the pharmacy, which is like at the other end of town. And, I drove down there, and when I got to the parking lot, I had pulled in and I'm driving along trying to find a spot. And I see that there's like a handicap spot that I could park in. It was a day where I was having some flare ups and just my body I was in a lot of pain. And I noticed these two older ladies. I'm going to say they were probably 60, early 60s, kind of standing like in where you drive, and they were just they were talking with one another and just standing like in the way where I needed to go. And I didn't think anything of it. I was just kind of like thinking to myself, well, why are they standing like in the middle of the road? Why don't they move? And so I finally pull into the handicap spot, which is, for me, it's totally legal. I have um, paperwork from my doctor. I have the placards that go up onto my rear view mirror. So it's not like I'm doing anything illegal. And one of the older ladies, I guess, had left or whatever. I didn't see her. So I get out of my car and I'm going to go into the pharmacy. And, like, it's not that I have like a beater of a car. It is a nicer car, but it's not brand new. It's nothing fancy. Um, so I get out and I lock my car and I'm standing there. I was going to turn around and walk into the store when I notice that one older lady is standing there staring at me, and I'm thinking, this is kind of weird. It's not weird that I get looks when I park in a handicapped spot, but it's still like, why are you standing there looking at me? Um, and she said, in kind of like a condescending tone, "Are you handicapped?" And it caught me off guard just because I had so many other things going on in my head, things I needed to do, thinking about the things that I did that day, just like a lot of stuff happening. I'm feeling a little frazzled, and it just made me kind of stop and stare at her. And I know she was judging me for the fact that I'm young looking, I have an undercut, I have tattoos, I have piercings. Visually, unless you really know me by looking at me, you'd never know that I was disabled. And I just looked at her and I said, yes. Like, I don't know, because I had so many things going on in my head, I just kind of said, yeah, and then just kind of like walked away from the situation. And I know it's because of how I looked. Um, and it's just, the more I thought about it when I walked away and later on that day, it really frustrated me because even in this day and age, I don't care how old you are, in this day and age, not every disability is something that can be seen. And I understand that there are people out there that they park in a handicapped spot because they feel like they can and do it illegally. And I'm not saying that that's right, but you can't go based on how somebody looks. It's incredibly rude, I think, and it's just, I don't know, it's rude to just assume that because of how somebody looks that they're healthy. I know that's not always the case, but like you can't assume that somebody isn't disabled. I could, because I suffer from a nerve disease and I do have depression and anxiety. It's just, I don't know. I thought it was kind of like stupid on her part to assume that I'm fine, I'm healthy, and I'm just parking there just because I want to. There's tons of disabilities, mental and physical, that are not anything that you can see. There's all sorts of mental illnesses like bipolar disorder, like schizophrenia. There's depression, anxiety. Just there's all sorts of things that can classify somebody being disabled that you can't see unless you know them, and it's just kind of ignorant, I think, to assume that if somebody looks normal or healthy or whatever, to assume that they are not disabled. And if I had not been so frazzled with like so many things going on that day, I would have been better to be able to explain my situation to her. And I don't know, like, she could have handled it different. I could have handled it different. But I wanted to get this out there that if you see somebody parking in a handicap spot and you see them get out of the car, don't assume that they don't have a disability if you see them walking maybe a little more normal, or you don't see any visible signs of some kind of disability. And you don't especially do it when you are like 20 or 30 feet away from said person, which is what this woman had done to me. And it was embarrassing for her to kind of say it as loudly and as far away from me as she did. It was insulting to me. Maybe I was a little oversensitive, but it's just how I feel. It was rude to do that, and I just wanted to kind of make a video about it, just kind of explaining my situation with that, or not my situation, but like what had happened, and just, I guess, I wanted to put the word out there to just, I guess, be a little more sensitive towards people with disabilities, whether you can see them or not, and all of that. So that is the end of that whole story. And if you liked it, I guess, definitely give a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below of maybe more videos that you'd like to see, or if you have some kind of story that's maybe similar to mine or something weird that has happened with you. And definitely subscribe to this channel, as I make more videos similar to this in the future. I will, and I have a whole list of other stuff that I've done, and definitely I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!